In this video, I will demonstrate Open Liberty Development Mode, or Dev Mode, with the Eclipse IDE. Open Liberty Dev Mode will pick up changes as you make them to your application by providing hot reload and deployment, on-demand testing, debugger support, and even container support. Let's take a look at some of these features. In this video, I have IBM Liberty Developer Tools installed as a plugin to my Eclipse IDE. This is an optional step, but does provide some helpful server configuration views. Liberty Dev Mode is provided through the Liberty Maven plugin or Liberty Gradle plugin. In this example, I'm using Maven, so in my pom.xml, I have the latest version of the Liberty Maven plugin specified. You can start Dev Mode by running Maven Liberty Dev in a terminal. Once Dev Mode has started the server, we can begin making changes to our application. Dev Mode also provides a view of which ports we can use to access our application. The default port is 9080, and the default port to attach debugger is 7777. We can see our application is launched and ready to go. Now let's start making some changes. The first change I'm going to make is add a new feature to my server.xml file. Now, because I have Liberty Developer Tools installed, I do have this design view of my server XML, which I can use to navigate the different elements. Otherwise, you can directly edit the server XML by using the Source tab. Here I've added the mp-health 3.0 feature. On save, we can see that Dev Mode has started to install this feature. We can see that the feature has been successfully installed. We can now make use of mp-health 3.0. I can see that this change has taken effect by visiting the -health endpoint in our browser, although for now it is an empty array. So let's go ahead and add a Microprofile health check. I'm going to create a new Java class and create a system liveness check. On file change, we can see that Dev Mode recompiles our changes and we can see source compilation is successful. Refreshing our endpoint, we can see the new liveness check we've added is up and running. Let's go through the steps to add another health check. This time it'll be a system readiness check. Again, as the class is created, we can see that Dev Mode has picked up our changes. On save, Dev Mode has picked up our changes and recompiled our application. Refreshing our endpoint, we can see our new readiness check has been added. In addition to source code, other resources can also be changed, and Dev Mode will pick up those changes, and that will be reflected in our application. Here, let's say our application has been set to in maintenance. Now when I refresh my health checks, we can see that our health checks are reporting that our application is down. Similarly, we can change a web application resource and see those changes take effect on our application. So if I go into my web app directory and change, say, my index.html file, we can see that on save and refreshing our endpoint, those changes have taken effect. Dev Mode also provides on-demand testing. We can press enter in our console to run tests. So here I've pressed enter and we can see that our integration tests have run. Right now we have one test called properties endpoint and it has passed. Let's go ahead and add a new test case. Here I'm creating a new test class to check that the health endpoint we added is working as it should. Dev Mode will pick up changes made to test classes as well, and we can see that with the test compilation was successful message in the Dev Mode terminal. Pressing enter in the terminal again will run our tests. Now our new test health endpoint IT has run, and we can see that they've passed. To stop Dev Mode, you can type Q or Control-C in the Dev Mode terminal, and your server will stop. Now I'll demonstrate hot testing with Dev Mode, and so you can start Dev Mode with the hot test parameter. And after Dev Mode starts, tests will run right away, and then again on any subsequent file change. So we can see right away, our unit tests and our integration tests have started running. We can also see in the Dev Mode startup message that tests will run automatically when changes are detected. So let's go ahead and make a source file change. Let's say we go into our system resource class and change the endpoint that our properties are displayed at. On file save, we can see that dev mode has picked up that change and has started to run our integration tests. Now our integration tests have failed because our endpoint has changed. Changing it back, we can see that our tests run again, and this time they have passed as expected. Next, I'm going to demonstrate how you can attach the Eclipse IDE debugger to your application with Liberty Dev Mode. So here I've switched into the debug perspective offered through Eclipse, and I'm creating a new debug configuration. I'm going to select a new remote Java application configuration and ensure that I'm using port 7777 and with localhost. Clicking debug, it will now attach to my running application. So I've added a breakpoint here on line 22 for our health check response, and I'll demonstrate what it looks like when we actually hit that breakpoint. So going to our -health URL, now we've hit our breakpoint, and you can step through your code, check the variable names as you would with a normal debugger. When you're done debugging, you can detach your debugger, and again, you can exit dev mode using Q or Control-C in the dev mode terminal. Next, I'm going to demonstrate how you can use Liberty Dev Mode to run your application in a container. So this is the exact same application as before, except now I've added a Docker file that is using one of the Open Liberty images as its parent image. And I'm going to start dev mode this time by running maven liberty dev c. Liberty Dev Mode has started, and we can see that it's running in a container. And Dev Mode will provide container port information on startup, so we can see which internal ports are mapped to which Docker host ports. We can also see which port we can connect our debugger to. Running your application with Liberty Dev C offers all of the same functionalities as running just with Liberty Dev, so any file changes you make will be picked up and deployed to your application. Here I'm going into my server XML and adding the MP health feature again. And on save, we can see that that feature is being installed, and we can visit the -health endpoint to see that take effect. Next, I'll add a liveness check class similar to how we did before, and we'll see that take effect with Liberty Dev Mode. So I've created my liveness check class, and I'll add in the content. And on save, we can see source compilation was successful. Refreshing our health endpoint, we can see those changes take effect. Once again, you can run tests on demand by pressing enter in the dev mode terminal. This will run your unit and integration tests. You can stop dev mode with container support by pressing Control-C. We invite you to try out Open Liberty Dev Mode, and you can learn more by visiting openliberty.io.